one was immaculate. Game 2, his farming seemed to kind of waver a little bit. Do you think it's time for him to put that one on the shelf and pull out something new here, or does that seem to be just the burning way?
I would like them to try something different. I don't want to just see them go for Slaughter at Lifestealer all 3 games. I think that just trying to change it up a bit could definitely work, but...
All right. Well, we got a draft underway. Yeah, we're predicting a lot of the bans are going to be pretty similar here.
Yep.
And it's looking like, unless the indicator's wrong, IG don't have first pick for this one, so... I believe I'm reading that correctly, right, Odie?
No, it's the indicator's incorrect. Look, it's pointing up now, but it's OG's ban.
Yeah, it's opposite.
It's a Valve thing. It's a Steam thing.
They banned Naga first, so they first pick.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Kind of like
I was like, wait,
but they also have. Yeah. Okay. So IG third game, they're going to go right back.
Yeah.
We're going to go right back for a lot of the same bans here. OG now looking for the second one.
Shadow Fiend is going to be the same exact bans, or will they let it through this time? Worked for them.
I'm surprised that Underlord still wasn't
Yeah, no one's really playing with the Underlord, are they?
Too slow, right? He doesn't let you just run at people and fight. That's exactly what he does.
I was going to say, yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? When there's a team running it, you can just lay down the pit and suddenly everyone's like, well, I can't move.
Yeah, he's very, get a very early Mackie pressure.
Same bans.
Enable
Is he just going to be starting though? Come on, let's see something different.
Over, under.
No, we're not seeing something different. Again.
Same thing.
Pick this gaming.
I think they should still do the Dazzle. I think Dazzle plus 1. Dazzle Ember seemed to work very well. Why not again?
Do we know Fly to be that kind of a guy, like a run back kind of a guy? I know we had captains in the past, like your PPDs and such, where they're, they would consider like, oh, we'll run it back, or even like Secret of old. But I don't know. I don't put Fly as that kind of a guy. It's like, yeah, we're just going to run the same thing again.
I don't know. It was just so good, though. The Dazzle, yeah, it's such a good answer.
I mean, I'd like to see the Dazzle, but an Ember follow-up right away.
I mean, I think they can even just afford to pick the Earth Spirit, because it might just get banned.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
just
thing.
Go Dazzle Earth Spirit.
Just get it now, because it's like, obviously, Invictus Gaming are going to ban the Earth Spirit in second phase. It would be wild for them not to, and consider letting them have it once again here. So we'll have to see. You are going to be then showing a hand of both of your supports.
That's true.
And we could see if IG try to exploit that in any sort of way to see what their game would be missing. But it's on OG to decide.
Yeah, they certainly run the risk of not being able to get themselves that Earth Spirit if they don't take it now.
I think that's probably exactly what they're talking about.
But maybe they don't mind that risk. Maybe they feel that there are alternatives they want to run. And they maybe like IG to use one of the bans on the Earth Spirit. Then it opens up the rest of the team's pool.
Jarex is a very versatile player with all those with all those melee cards. But nope, they go for the Ember Spirit, so Earth Spirit is going to be more than likely banned or picked up here.
That could be something that, absolutely, IG could just take themselves.
I think it's very good versus Dazzle Ember Spirit. I wouldn't see why not, maybe, unless they want to just stick with the same thing. They may just want the Lifestealer again, and it's more than likely going to get banned out versus them.
You got 2 ways, already to...
Okay, change up here. We're not going to have too much stubbornness. We're going to go right into the OD here for the second pick. I like that.
I mean, matchup. Yeah, a Great in the mid, and it is an answer to the Dazzle. If someone gets Great, you just wait the time, put them in the Astral, pop you get them afterwards. It's very, very good here.
10 seconds remaining.
Same kind of things you can get on top of the Dazzle, put him under,
just
and then focus somebody else. Yeah. It's a very good pickup, and it's just a much better matchup. Like, Invoker suffered a bit versus the Ember Spirit. OD should be able to hold his ground quite well versus Ember, and like we mentioned, Lifestealer banned out by OG. So we are going to see Burning on a different carry, which is awesome, which is great. Definitely somebody who will benefit from Corrosive Haze, so some physical damage.
Can you name his other spells?
Isn't it? It's Guardian Sprint, Slither and Crush, and then the Bash. Bash of the Deep.
That's right. I was like, Bash of the Deep.
Do you think? Actually, look at the Earth Spirits. I'm a little surprised what Sven is still there. I wonder if because I feel that it's very likely that they'll pick the Sven because it's very good against the Slaughter on OG's side.
Yeah, I think that. The Earth Spirit, I think Earth Spirit and Nyx are the 2 better bans for IG.
You say Earth Spirit's still more of an issue than Noto getting his hands on the Sven core?
Because OD can kind of deal with the Sven, right?
That's true.
It's like
you got the damage
gets focused, you can Astral right away, and then you have the damage that goes through armor with his Arcane Orb. And Earth Spirit's very annoying versus OD, because OD's majority of his damage is through his Arcane Orb. If you're silenced up, you're not able to use that. It's good, and it's Jarex Earth Spirit, right? You gotta show a little bit of respect,
I don't think they might go for it again. OD's a little trickier to kind of get that jump on in the early game. He'll just Astral and do his business out.
It forces somebody to help him mid, though, because you can't use Astral aggressively or anything in that manner, because you just get gone on right away.
Dire team
I'm going to throw out a random hero here. It was another Jarex Classic, but what happened with bounty hunter there for a while. We didn't really see him too much from the past couple events. Has patch 7.0 been a bit cruel to the little guy?
People were saying that. People were saying he was weak too at Boston though, and Ad Finum just they were picking it like every game. I think it can work. I think he just suffers a bit versus like the heavy 5-man that people are running a lot. You have to make so much happen in the early game. If you don't, it's like, I'm a bounty hunter, guys. Like, they ban out the Air Spirit. I think that's appropriate.
No surprises there.
Other Jarek's roaming aggressive kind of heroes we've known him for in the past, at least, was like the Tusk. The bounty hunter is recently mentioned. What was it, Marana? Haven't seen Marana yet in the event.
Was it Jarek's who started to kind of bring back the Shaker, roaming around on the Shaker? From Boston.
I think a little bit, yeah.
Reserve time.
And then, or you go back for that Pudge.
Oh, yeah.
Go back for that Pudge.
Pudge, Tusk messes up the initiations from Slardar too, and the Dazzle heal with Tusk. We haven't seen that hero at all, really, like in a while, but Jarek is one of the few that do kind of play it still.
He's like a lot of people have been classifying him as like, he could do the things that Earthspear do, but he also provides a lot more defensive capabilities, of course, with the snowball and such, but...
Yeah, Sigil's also very strong versus heroes too.
Oh yeah, but they're going to take their time thinking about this, it looks like here.
They've got options. They just go for the Pudge.
Okay. Pudge, you get that still roaming aggression, that feeling that IG are going to have looking over their shoulders, like where he's not in lane, where the hell is he coming from? And then, of course, the late game, one hook could just be a game changer, man.
They've got, like, I don't want to call it, like, double defensive, but in a way it can be, because Pudge can be used in both manners. So if someone gets focused by Slaughter, you can hook him out. If someone's Astral, you hook him out of the Astral. Good to roam around mid with the Ember Spirit. Ember builds Veil, too, which Pudge benefits from a bit with Rot and Dismember.
Reserve time.
And now we go back to IG. I don't know if the Pudge pick kind of deters any sort of draft here for IG, but they'll settle for a very durable support.
Yeah. Bloodlust for OD, Bloodlust for Slardar.
Bloodlust for everybody! Yeah.
Some lockdown, some decent, okay lockdown for Ember, having at least a stun. And you just, follow the Pudge around. Here's an Ogre, lugging around.
We go back the way of OG right now, and
I'm still looking for what?
S4 hero.
Yeah, and No Tail.
The Axe, the Clock. Probably going for No Tail's hero here would be good.
I mean, you feel the OD is a deterrent for the spam pick? Oh, the S4 Brewmaster.
You think it's S4? I think it could also be No Tail, right?
Nah, it'll be S4.
You think it'll be 100% S4?
I mean,
they
they'll
both
be S4.
have quite a history with the hero, but
I think it'll be.
I lean with OD on this one. That when I saw that, the first thing I thought it was S4.
Because they pulled this out, I want to say at least a couple of times at Boston.
Yeah.
He was pretty much the only person, but he's got a lot of faith in the Brew.
Why Brew, though?
Great team fighter overall, like just its Brewmaster is a good team fighter, but he can also purge off the Bloodlust with his Wind Spirit with the purge. It's just a strong fighter, and he gets auras as well, so he can amp up his team a bit for the armor, like Vlad's and all those type of things.
And we go back to IG here. They snag up that Weaver. We saw the Weaver, of course, in game number 1. That was when we had that kind of intriguing draft where it seemed to be a core at the start, but then as we saw in the game, it was quickly grabbed up to be that roaming 4 position. And could possibly be the same here. Obviously depends on that 5th pick.
Yeah. Leaves it open-ended. I think they can still run it in both positions because there's no lockdown, no guaranteed lockdown on the side of OG. They have Dismember, sure, but then that's it. Like, chains are okay versus Weaver, but he's pretty easy to just Sakuchi around that.
Yeah, we got to go back the way here, OG. For that final ban to get rid of. They've seen the Weaver, but they might read it as a chance to continue banning out a burning hero here.
10 seconds remaining.
And
again, the Silencer. Just the same thing with versus the Dazzle. They don't want to get their graves messed up.
Good against Ember, good against Brew. Just something they don't want to have to deal with, that kind of a combo breaker in these chaotic team fights here.
Do you think the OD is enough to stop OG from thinking about getting No Tail the Terrorblade this game? I mean, other than the OD, there's not a lot of ways that you can, because it is the Slardar Weaver kind of duo. You are going to have that high armor. You've got the combination with the Dazzle. But again, is the OD just too good at clearing illusions for you to want to run Terrorblade?
It is incredibly good at clearing illusions, but Terrorblade does fit what they need. And they need somebody who can hit buildings. And he does benefit a lot from Dazzle, and you have the Grave at least for that. So Could work. It's OG. OG likes to grab no tail on a hero that can just hit buildings like that. So I wouldn't put it past them to grab it even versus OD.
Or the beat bow guys. They don't have too much AoE on IG side, with the exception of Slardar. But obviously IG kind of scratching their heads a little bit here to see what that infamous no-tail hero could be. Pushing would definitely be nice to have here on OG side.
Yeah, they need an objective taker
Way to
for sure.
yeah, get the towers down a bit. Used to play a lot of Death Prophet back in the day, but see that hero doesn't really get to see a lot.
Oh, they
of
ban the
spotlight.
Meepo. They do.
Yeah.
Pick.
Just in case.
Just in case.
I mean, you know, it's one of those hit picks that can slip through and just really kind of screw you over. Especially if you're up against notes out.
We go to IGs first. This obviously will paint the picture here for this Weaver, but we kind of lean the. I feel like this is going to be a burning grab.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know why Vengeance just keeps popping out because I see all the minus armor. I feel like I've just been seeing this type of.
But Burning has done the bench
He's done
carry.
the bench
hasn't he?
carry as well,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. I don't remember being too impressed with it though.
No, I haven't really been too impressed by many of the bench carries either. It works really well with the Dominator creep, but.
How about her new talents? Has that benefited her as a core any further? And I'll be honest, I haven't had the opportunity to play too much Vengeful Spirit in the core position or much altogether, but
It's decent just I think the Dominator is the bigger one that just allows you to run in a bit better, but her talents are pretty decent. She has some good ones. Not like crazy good ones like Ember Spirit, but...
It's not the game to bring back the Burning AM, is it?
There's not much lockdown, but I think their lineup would be a bit too greedy with that. They don't really have any like deep push as well either with the lineup too, so if they just get ran out of
yeah,
the
but
lane,
this
it
is
could be
where
hard.
Burning goes, just give it to me.
Oh, new hero.
So yeah, it is
Q,
going
right?
to be, yeah, that's going
a
to
Q
be a
Visage?
Burning Weaver.
Burning Weaver.
Q Visage. Q played Visage plenty.
And they
back
do
at
get the
TH.
Terrorblade. The OGs won it. They went with my pick.
That was still a
Terrorblade's
really
too
good call.
I love these last two picks here. Okay, so yeah, as mentioned, you know, Q played this hero a lot for CDC back at TI5, so we know he can play the hero well, but we also know that No Tail has a pretty damn good Terrorblade. It's been a while
One of the
since we've
best
seen it, but
in
yeah.
the West.
But there it is here now. You needed a tower pusher, they got it.
And they got it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, the draft before us, OD, you already said that you're feeling pretty comfortable with OG.
Yeah, OG again. S4 Brewmaster, No Tail Terrorblade. Let's go. It's going to be brilliant.
What about you, Fogged?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with OG. Yeah, I think the Dazzle, I think Fly's Dazzle, just that last performance too, just reminded me of old OG when they would run it every time and just dominate with it. So I'm gonna say OG. I like IG's lineup too in a way, but I like the Dazzle punch combo.
Sounds great. All right, we're set and underway here. We're going to go ahead and get ready to throw things over. It's our first game number 3 of the tournament. One of these teams going to be moving on into the semifinals to face Virtus Pro later today. The other team going to be facing Elements Pro Gaming in a scary best-of-1 lower bracket in our next series. No break for the loser. You got to get right back in and play elimination mode. So we'll see how it pans out. Let's go ahead and throw things over to our commentators right now in-house. We have none other than Toby Wan and Merlini. Gentlemen, please take it away and have some fun.
Oh, I'm fairly certain this game's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. We're getting Pudge as a consistent pickup. We're bringing back the age-old S4 Brewmaster, dusting off the Visage.
5 seconds remaining.
Merlini.
I haven't seen a lot of these heroes in a long time. The Visage in particular. Before he was decent in 7.00, and then he got nerfed before he even saw any competitive play. Now he's back.
Yeah,
Prepare for
back with a
battle.
vengeance. He will be in the support role this time around without any kind of buff up from a
smoke on
Ranger.
bottom.
And, well, hello.
Boboka, he popped his smoke as he was running up the hill. He has 2 Observer Wards, so No Tail definitely knows that nothing has been placed. Terrorblade also had an Observer Ward of his own, so Boboka probably kind of wondering where he's going to place that. Go on.
No Tail's already pinging out. They didn't get any vision of Boboka after he made that little bit of a move. So No Tail thinks he put one up on this little cliffside. And now he plans the one in the middle, so if they do actually get vision of him, it's already going to be too late. They're going to see like one ward down.
Ogre hasn't pulled a sentry. Are they going to be able to de-ward that mid one? Or do they want to perhaps leave it for the OD to get like the extra regeneration? Not sure yet, but I saw them ping it out. So I'm fairly certain that they know. So Jerax, again playing the Pudge. He I'd be surprised to see him start off on the bottom lane because it's far more typical to creep pull from the left side as the Pudge.
Looks like Fly did actually. I mean, he transferred over the sentry. Yeah, there's one on the hands of Pudge. I'm like, oh, he planted down the ward, but wait, there's no ward being planted.
Battle begins.
All right, so laning's going to begin. So S4 got 2 PMSs out for the mid as well as their off laner. That's going to be the Life Stealer. I've had too much of him already today. The Brewmaster off lane plus that Ember Spirit going into the mid lane. Jirax on the roam. It's No Tail onto a Terrorblade on the bottom lane. He'll have this extra support coming in from Fly. Interested to see just how aggressively they push that with Metamorphosis. It'll be the Slardar whose job is to defend that bottom lane. Meanwhile, OD as well as Ogre. What a surprise, Ogre helping out the mid. He'll be down there, and then it's up to Q and Burning, the Weaver and Visage combination to defend the top lane.
I don't particularly fancy XSS's decision to Iron Talon both games and just leave No Tail to free farm. No Tail, I think, just got way too much time alone in the bottom lane. And same with Fly. Fly had a decent amount of levels just because of this Iron Talon jungling. And they're also getting a lot of levels on Jirax because he's doing the same creep pull just on the opposite side of the map. So now S4 kind of has free lane because he gets a free level 2. Probably the most important part if you're going to be an offlaner. And Jirax was able to stack and pull.
Yep.
So he's going to have 3 camps.
We talked about him flash farming before. This is getting ridiculous. And you think about the combination. Okay, maybe this is a better thing. But Burning, he knows he can't win this, but he can at least get Jirax to trigger that shrine a little bit earlier. And with a full mana up, Jirax, okay, he's just going to finish the job. But this is the advantage of having something like a Weaver on this lane. He can be a lot more aggressive with his maneuver just to defend this against the Pudge. Yeah, the hook's not going to hit.
Dire's top tower.
Actually wasting a lot of time of Burning to be there.
It's okay. Visage, I think, is one of the best supports to give levels to in lane because he just makes so much use of that farm. And his talents are actually pretty decent too.
Bobika's trying to go for the pull, but No Tail sees it coming. Quick illusion creation. How long until you're actually looking to see him trigger his Metamorphosis? We've seen a lot of Terrorblades trigger this like in the very early levels just to add a lot of pressure.
Well, the creep is pushing into him, and they already have the Ogre there. I think if there's no hero in the lane, as soon as possible. But if Ogre's there in the lane, you don't want him getting free last hits to the tower. So I would advocate it against it at this point in time.
Just waiting for that pressure to be
good.
applied to get a rotation to come. Because at the moment, like he's still great on CS. You look at that CS board, he's 12 for 3 on the board. The only one who's near him and actually above him is the mid laner. It's OP on the OD, who's got 13 for 6 up against Anna, who's got 4 for 2. So it's been a bit of a rough run for the Ember Spirit early on, but he's still finding the levels, of course, and going up against an Ogre. The life was never meant to be easy for him.
Nope. Yeah, I guess that's their only lane they're really losing, though. Unfortunately for S4, that shrine was already popped, so S4 could run into some regeneration issues on that top lane.
Yeah, we were talking about that during the draft when you're like, man, like his talent tree is so good with the regeneration.
3 mana regen is insanely good on a strength hero, especially one that uses mana as often as Brewmaster. Also, Brewmaster got his Drunken Haze changed. It's much less cooldown now, but it's not AoE anymore, and it's much less duration. So you have to cast it a lot more. But the cast point was also reduced a little bit, but it's more of a, you have to actively keep it on in the fights as opposed to set it and forget it.
Yeah, S4's feeling like he's so confident. Clap, he's going to get shielded up a little bit and then starts up his TP, but where's the damage? With no soul assumption available. They don't have the damage to find the kill.
Burning's so far away
Mid
from
lane, they start with the Syrian chains and do a quick rot. What's he going to do? Imprison up? He can actually get hooked back straight away. Jirax is so low, he actually tried to wait it out. OP will get the first blood. And with a very quick rebuttal, however, that orb damage was just a little bit too much for Pudge. You could see Jirax looking to deny himself, but, well, he was denied the deny.
Yeah, he actually picked the 1-level Arcane Orb very early on. Don't see that too often. Mostly Max Astral for the ranged damage, the cooldown. It scales very, very well. That might hurt him later on, not having Max Astral. I guess he could just forego 1-level Essence Aura and have it max level by level 7.
Jirax is trying to be more of a nuisance now. Like, he did just pull over, like, that was fantastic. He can go and do one again later on. But he adds presence to the bottom lane. Scattered out the Slardar, just doing his Iron Talon farming. In fact, they're all bailing out now. So Jerax will get to steal the rune. Oh, Ana, okay. Take less damage. That early orb has done a lot of work for the OD.
Yeah, he's actually gotten a lot of essence out of proxy, so he will actually go 1-1-3 on the OD. Don't see that too often, but if you're trying to harass out the lane early, I think Arcane Orb is incredibly good at that.
Here comes that pressure I was looking for. So 4 minutes in, when the catapult wave is here, Notel just tries to create more of himself, and with the support from Jerax already rotated over, it's very difficult for either of these two melee heroes to move forward and stop the damage going into the tier 3 tower, tier 1 tower.
This is also before the
They're going to
Aquila.
TP in. Jerax is seeing this arrive, so Q is going to arrive in. Remember, they've still got Fly behind him, and the hook actually latches the Visage. So a lot of damage to a tower, a kill onto the support too. Notel's Metamorphosis has got a little bit more time, and it will be enough to actually bring down the tier 1. And Jerax is already looking for another kill.
Dire's bottom
He looks for the
tower
hook.
is under attack.
Find the
Dire's
target on the
bottom
Slaughter.
tower has fallen.
But they will get the D-ward onto the Dire. So they have vision control of the bottom lane now.
That's pretty much exactly what you want to get out of your first Metamorphosis. It's also like maybe you don't want to use your Metamorphosis like as soon as you get it, just because of it not being quite as high level as you would like it. Like I think level 3 Metamorphosis is incredibly strong relative to level 1. Well, that is easy. Jerax hit that hook also without an Observer Ward. That Observer Ward was placed after that whole engagement went down.
And the extra information he had was the fact that TP was coming. Jerax looking for his opening. With the Observer Ward up, he feels pretty safe. And Bobaka as well as Q, they might be a little bit concerned that there is some vision there. But I want to just break the smoke. And they're actually moving on. Ana? Oh, there's your Searing Chains. There's no real follow-up. He's going to get imprisoned. Where's that defensive spirit? You assume he's got one. Okay, no he doesn't. He's going to plant it down and then get away. Sentry Ward's down, so Jerax also being revealed. He managed to find the Invis rune. Does he get out of range? Yes, he does, and then tries to run himself. No! Oh, we burn out to the Ignite.
Maybe he expected the Sentry Ward to be a little bit higher to de-ward kind of both of the cliffs, but instead it was in the middle lane.
That's a nice kill for IG, but now there's 2 kills for IG they've managed to claim, but both of them on the supports. And S4 is doing what you were talking about with me, like he's actually bypassing the arcane boots.
Yeah, you don't need arcanes anymore on Brew with the mana regen. The mana regen talent is also so much better than attack speed.
Jerax, he waited so long to throw that hook.
I don't know if OP got that one arcane orb onto the Ember after the Astral. I think he would have been out of mana and would have at least had to stick before he remnanted, but no big deal. Jerax posing a lot of problems for OD. Oh my goodness.
OD thought he had the calculation right.
What does he have right now?
He's sitting on 12 stolen
Yeah.
against the 9 lost of Ana.
That would have been a really nice kill for IG to have right there. Burning going for a much slower build with the Ring of Health. I guess we see what Lincoln's, Lance, Dezo pretty often.
Alright, well Ana gets his own back in the mid lane, manages to kill off the OG, and that was a one-on-one engagement. Must have committed a lot of his spirits in order to do it. It was a top lane where I was looking for the fight because there's Notel trying to get up in the face of Burning, triggers his Metamorphosis. Not here with a lot of support.
Jerax and Fly smoked around in mid, waiting for the OD to TV back. This could be devastating. Ana's also at fairly low HP, so it could be quite enticing for him to come back, but there are 4 heroes there. He is going to TV back. The smoke will pop, and they know what is going on here.
This is so good for Notel as well. Like, he triggered his Metamorphosis on top, but didn't really have a push going onto the tier 1 tower there, so he goes towards the mid, where the pressure is, where his teammates are, before they came to him, but this time OG built the push, and he did come. Try and fall back with the Ignite, keeping Push down low, Burning. He's actually really low. The hook's available, but Ana in through the rear with the Searing Chains. Already finds 1 kill there. Notel needs to make more copies of himself. This tier 1 tower is still up, and OP's getting a little bit of soul intelligence. It'll slowly start to build up. Ana will do his little TP back, regenerate back to the front lines. Tier 1 tower is already claimed. So Invictus Gaming don't find the opening they're looking for, but OG do.
Weaver cannot fight early with this build. Like Ring of Health, Blightstone, Aquila, he like doesn't really have anything to offer. I think I would prefer to Lance if he's going to be actively helping out his teams, but I can understand his position. He's like pushing with every Metamorphosis cooldown, and they're getting towers with it. I don't really want to allow this to happen, but It's just not the right time for him to come to the fights.
I love it the way too, like they keep the regeneration up for the Brewmaster. You know, Ember Spirits can be jumping back and forward all the time, and they're both running bottles. It's the simplest regeneration when 3-4 minutes you group yourself up and then pushes 5. The Ember Spirit's going to do his little thing.
OG with a fair amount of gold relative to IG. They really need this Visage to start contributing more. He just hit level 6, so does have his familiars up and can maybe aid in the fights, even if he does still want to go out and farm the lane by himself.
S4's coming in for the farm. What do you want to do here, Burning? He probably knows if he sticks around, there's going to be support rotating over. There's no other hero showing on the map apart from S4.
He wants to pressure the towers so that he's forcing OG to play on the defensive, but OG are just waiting for the next meta cooldown. It just came off cooldown and they can do whatever they want, I think, for the next couple of minutes. I really like the Terrorblade pick versus the Slardar. I think Terrorblade actually has a very high win rate because of his armor. He has 19 armor right now, and he has 1 from the tower, but still 18 without the tower aura is like, they can't really do that much. They did draft the OD though. I do like that they drafted a non-physical damage core instead of trying to burst through that plus armor.
Notel's coming up for the top lane. You have level 7 over on Q. So the Visage Familiars are up and running.
Their AoE is just terrible though. Like, what do you have to clear illusions? Multicast, ignite. OD, who doesn't have a lance yet, so is in a lot of risk if he's actually right-clicking the Terrorblade illusions down. And this tower is going to be made very quick work of by Notel.
Yep. It's funny because it's like all the weaknesses which you could see in the IG draft that Meepo, like we were flagging Meepo as that 5th up where it would counter it perfectly. There's so many Meepos where IG just cannot deal with it, and it's a very similar situation now with the Terrorblade. Jirax with Dismember, grab, hold, and able to do so. That is just really nice positioning from Jirax.
I think they interrupted the cast point of the time lapse too.
Oh, no tell. Not in range of the Fire Blast, and the Familiar Stuns couldn't come down in time. So you get a kill on the IG1 position, and you manage to escape with your own.
Yeah, things are usually slow as it seems for IG until the Blink Dagger pickup. Slardar smoking with his team, it looks like. It's a very good time to do so. They really need some kills to pick themselves back up. There is no Metamorphosis yet on the Terrorblade, and they know OG are going to probably be playing on the defensive for at least the next minute or so. However, they might run into one of the heroes they don't want to. S4.
Oh. Burning, trying to not do what his name says. Gets hit by Veil of Discord, plus the 4 points up in the Flame Guard.
He has a Remnant now. I don't actually think kill him. On top of that,
they're going to find Jirax.
Jirax is not what you want to use your first
He
smoke.
just found the Slaughter. He just broke the smoke on the Slaughter.
Yep. They know every single time it's about that time for Slaughter to make their move.
Q. Blink. Crush. A lot of supports coming over. Jirax, he does have stick charges available. Actually denies himself. And now you get the start of Fissurian Chains. Combining it with the Veil of Discord. Notel will move over as well. Anna dropping down very, very low. You've got the extra heal plus the Shallow Grave up from Fly. They're trying to get close enough to him with the Solar Sunshine, but Notel will sacrifice his life to keep the Ember Spirit alive. But will that even be enough? No, Ember will die as well. And the Crush on the back lines. Fly and S4. S4 will finally split. But is the damage already done? Weaver doesn't have time lapse, but he does have the ability. Send him up and towards the air with the Storm Ruling, but he comes back down again with 1 charge is triggered. The buyback out from the Ember, trying to keep the fight going, but if he dies again with the Blink Crush, Ember is gone! 40 seconds on the sideline with the dieback. S4 has re-entered his Brulee form, but Burning right behind him. The clap is beautiful, but the damage is repaired with time lapse. S4 still on the run, actually leading Invictus Gaming over towards Jirax, but it's Notel under the tower. He'll die again too. The Soul Assumption charges are just building up time and time again, and now it's up to Jirax on the front line. A Blink, a Crush, another Amplification. One by one, they all go to the Slaughter OG. And where is the collateral? Where is the extra damage with the Amplification on S4? Burning, again, they knew exactly where to go. The Brewmaster will finally fall. He crossed almost the entire diagonal of the map. Meanwhile, the rest of his teammates were dying one by one, and maybe in pairs of 2 sometimes.
Wow, what a cataclysmic turn of events. I think OG felt pretty comfortable, but if you click on the shrine, it's still 20 seconds away from cooldown. So they have the positioning, but they don't actually have the shrine up. And IG were like, okay, they're just gonna keep fighting and fighting. Oh wait, the shrine's not up. Let's just keep on going and going and going and going. They went from the bottom shrine all the way to like the top T1.
Yep.
That was ridiculous.
And it's the danger zone now where you start looking at the heroes who are picking up kills. Maybe not so much the fact that Ogre has 2 kills to his name, but it's a lot of experience. And with Ogre, we saw it before from Invictus Gaming. He goes to that early point up in the gold per minute, and you get really big support items on him. So you get that earlier, items just start to roll in. And it's the same thing for the Visage. Like, he also has exactly the same thing, the 60 gold per minute. The Aghanim Scepter comes up, the mech timing is is increased. All these things OG will just not be able to deal with.
I think that fight, Ana actually just tanked way too much too. You don't think you really want to get hit by OD that often, because he does a lot of damage with his orb, and he's also sealing in. That's a level 1 orb. Imagine if that were a level 4 orb, he would have had like 50, 60 intel, or just one-shot the majority of the OG team with that.
Well, the orb levels are coming up. Obviously, OD got a lot of experience out from that fight.
That's him fighting with just Trez and Midas too. You can't really underestimate Solar plus the Visage Birds too. They might think they're okay, like if OD's not fat, but the Visage Birds do an incredible amount of damage at this point in the game.
Speaking of those birds, they take the tier 1 tower before OG can even arrive. They're getting themselves into a better position to fight now that S4 has the Blink Dagger, but you got to deal with the birds who catch you out when you go for your blink. Plus the fact that, maybe that's the other thing for the OG lineup, they were waiting for the initiation to come from the Brute, but he never actually had the initiation item. Like, you use the split as a way to potentially escape.
Yeah, they have to be careful too. They needed to let the Terrorblade tank a lot because he has a lot of illusions which serve as a barrier to his main hero. Ooh.
No vision. Couldn't get the dismember off.
It's tough. Some of the Pudges will do it pretty consistently. They'll like target the dismember as he's in the air, but most of the time it's very hard to pull it off, especially against a hero with instant cast like that. They need something else to help him out.
Was getting very aggressive, but so is S4. The blink, the clap. He actually looks to get the creep wave, but actually found Q in the trees. A quick jump forward, slide of fist. That's a lot of damage with the burn and the hook. It catches out the Slander. XXS pulled back in again, so No-Tail will find that one. Even the courier missed micro from Invictus Gaming. They lost it and had a wand as well as a TP scroll on it, so nothing absolutely huge, but the hog again from Jirax, grabbing Bobo, pulling him back into OG. So there's 3 heroes gone, and a tower follow-up, but no, they don't have buybacks available. Where do you go from here? It's going to be a TP down the bottom lane. They don't get there in time to deny the tier 1 tower. Burning now probably realizes there's not a lot of extra support. Waits in the tree lines, but Ana is there. They get the Searing chains off. Time lamps back up, away from the damage, and will be able to retreat. I thought for a moment No-Tail would start chipping away at the top tower, but we are 17 minutes in.
A little early for that.
It is.
I think Q is just... This hasn't been the best day for him on the support.
Oh my. Hello! And goodbye. Quick push away, and he already actually has the 4-staff up and running, but can't get that far away. Quick imprisonment, they create a little bit of distance. The illusion's trying to keep the Slander out, but he just comes back in again, gets the double crush. Maybe with the extra stuns, they can keep Jirax in control, so we can't just do that. It's a dismember. Shallow Grave allows Jirax to keep rotting and staying on the front lines. He needs to get the bug off him. Actually, he just denies himself. Lets the Shallow Grave tick out, but another double crush. This Slander really proving his worth. The buyback has to come out from Jirax. No-Tail is just so low. He's got Thunder back off cooldown again. He can use it on the Visage, potentially turn this fight around for himself. But when the stuns come out from the familiar birds, I don't really have that option, but Jirax needs a line for the hook. 3 seconds on cooldown. Blink, clamp forward. Brewmaster will get stunned up, but Jirax just moves forward, and they don't need to do anything. No extra big abilities triggered. And that's a lot better fight around the shrine for OG.
And this time it was actually up. Nice denied by the Pudge there. Not really giving IG anything from that fight at all, and of course taking down the prized OD. He did manage to, I think, buy majority of his items before he hit the deck. I think Brewmaster is starting to become more of a nuisance at these fights. He's very difficult to burst down because of his Drunken Brawler, and like it causes OD to miss. OD has a huge problem actually with True Strike.
That was very greedy, Jirax. He went back in to get the last hit on the Ancient Rock Gold. Oh no! He denied himself underneath them. That shouldn't happen. But they don't have burst damage to deal with it.
They should with Soul Assumption, but Q's been prioritizing, I think, farming a little bit too much. He was really close to his mech before he died in the time on top, but now he will finally proceed to get the mech as IG. Try and take down this tier 3, but with the weave hit.
S4's got a haste rune. He's just found himself an interesting target. Bobakar's on the run back into his own jungle with the clap.
Where is his TP scroll?
He does not have. Well, he's got it in his backpack.
He's actually going for Helmet Dominator on the Ogre Magi. Not exactly sure what creep he's going to pick up. Cross down run creeps, okay.
Perch creep would probably make the most amount of sense up against the Ember.
Yeah, Perch creep's pretty good. I don't know if it'd be the most useful one for his team though. Actually, the attack speed aura might be pretty useful. But you don't see people pick that up too often.
OG are grouping up around Roshan. I think they can do this pretty quickly. They just send No Tail in at the moment. I think letting his illusions tank, obviously they're not going to be able to attack. And Invictus Gaming grouping up very close towards their own tier 3s. Jirax scouting it out, puts on his own observer ward, sees them moving down towards the secret shop area. So OG know they can just go in and finish the job here.
Yep, all they need to do is create a little bit of space, and no one's even close to the Roshan pit, so this should be a free Aegis.
They aren't committing fully. So Roshan isn't dead yet. Okay, now finally Anna's going to come in and do something.
It's fast enough. With the medallion, it's much quicker than IG probably expects.
Jirax found a bird. Try to dismember it to stop it from dropping.
And now they have given the Aegis to Ember Spirit, which is potentially very devastating for IG. They don't have that great of a lockdown for him. Just kind of Slardar, but Slardar hasn't been able to really get the jump on Ember Spirit a lot of the time. And he has a fair amount of armor, and I don't really think he's his first target you want to burst down this fight.
It allows Anna to be also a lot more aggressive on the side lanes with Blink, Boots, and Veil.
Yeah, they have to kill the OD. I think they need to pressure the OD constantly so he doesn't stack up intel. I think one big Sandy's Eclipse could ruin the fight for OG.
Is he actually going to be able to survive once the BKB is up? Like, I understand there's still a lot of damage coming in from the Terrorblade, but...
OD has a surprisingly high amount of armor for an end hero, so I think he'll be fine. As long as he doesn't get, like, eaten. But maybe sooner or later they'll have more items to compensate for that. Weaver, for example, has a Lincoln Sphere. He can dump that on the OD if they feel like he's going to be highly prioritized in the fights. He always has defense. The Astral's very good.
Yep. It may not have to be that Perch creep. It was a Diffuser Blade being picked up over on the Weaver. That works for the same kind of thing I was looking for with the Purge against the Ember.
Yeah, it's very, very good damage too. I wouldn't be too surprised if he picked up an MKB pretty soon too to deal with the Brewmaster. I guess Brewmaster actually can't.
Did they camp the Spirit? A ping just came out, and now, okay, well, flag gets revealed. The jump forward. Weaver was looking for the opportunity. Familiar drop downs, but the primal split already came in from S4, so Slardar caught inside the tree lines. If they can bring him down, there isn't that continuous amplification which Invictus Gaming exploited so perfectly in their last engagement. Instead, this fight splits into multiple parts. It's No Tail looking for his kind of opening. Odie's already been spun up in towards the air, but no, they just don't have enough. Not once Burning arrives, and Anna cannot continue to be hit by the orbs. He's got the distance, he's got the speed. Jirax, however, does not have either of those things. So Odie comes in, brings a big chunk of damage from his orb attacks.
It's getting rougher and rougher for OG. No-Tail was very far separated away from his team. The fight was centered around the Brewmaster, but he was kind of like a screen and a half away, and of course they're going to take the Terrorblade down if he doesn't have Aegis in his possession.
And now IG know the Brewmaster split's also on cooldown. So OG defending this bottom tower, it's going to come from a lot of spam of the Ember Spirit.
There is a DD on the Ember Spirit, so they might be underestimating OG's fighting potential at this juncture.
They should jump forward. S4 tries to help him out. They push him back. There's that Hurricane Pike going to work, but multiple spirits forward. OP's almost gone. He drops the hammer. They'll break the Aegis, the Immortal. The fifth imprisonment. Trying to buy a little bit of time. He'll pop back out again. Cannot blink out. And now with the double familiar stuns, will it be enough? Not when Jirax in the middle of them, rotting him up. It's not just a slow, it's a sleight of fist. Build damage with also that Ember Spirit. Is there enough? You got XXS on the run. And Anna, too quick. The blink forward lets the steering chains do the work. And Bobacar be the last one to fall here for Invictus Gaming. Burning was able to escape, but No Tail able to track him down. Trigger off the shrine, get some regeneration, and then turn this into a push.
Yeah, I don't think they saw the DD on the Ember Spirit. It kind of just put OD in that critical HP range where he couldn't stand in an attack. He had to drop his ultimate very early on. Ideally, you just stand there, you right-click a little bit, you like pike yourself, get a few more hits off, and then he send his Eclipse. But none of that was possible because he was at like half HP from one slight combo. And Ember Spirit with another rune. Arcane is arguably, I would say, even better than the DD for this sort of Ember build.
More spam damage. Blink forward, never get caught by it. Notel still there, they hook him away from the Slaughter. And with the defensive imprisonment that actually happened from OP, Aeroblade has a little bit more distance to get away. There's still no Metamorphosis, it's on cooldown for 1 more second, so if Notel wants to try and turn this one, they'll have the option to do so. A quick hook, dragging Burning down, he'll have to time lapse pretty early in the fight. Terrorblade, Sunder, 2 seconds, 1 second, is coming back off cooldown right now. S4 blinks into the climb with a Spirit Forward from Ana. They find the opening over on Q. Odie again with a defensive imprisonment, pushes himself out with the Hurricane Pike, but he dies shortly after the fact, and then they move over to Bobaka. The Ogre Magi just cannot keep this distance up, being forced into the middle of the fights, and this seems like a very familiar story. Burning, the sole survivor, tries to run back, now reveals himself, triggers the Diffusal Blade over on the Ember Spirit, but Jirax misses the hook. S4's there for the clamp, so Burning doesn't have the movement speed he's really looking for, but Shikuchi back off cooldown, keeps the run going, and this will allow him to escape, or will it? Ana, hot on the tail, Spirit jump forward, he has the damage. Invictus Gaming, it is a 5-man wipe in favor of OG.
OG are really smart about playing these fights. They wait for someone to get jumped, and then they wait for their IG to come in pretty hard, and then they grave and counter-initiate. The Brewmaster and the Ember Spirit, they're all over the OD. They blink, clap, split, and remnant in onto the OD, and without a blink dagger, there's no way he can actually separate himself from those two heroes.
It was like 8 minutes ago, or maybe 10, we were looking for that OD to complete his BKB, but he's still been stopped short. Because they keep focusing him, this BKB just keeps getting delayed, and all these control abilities, they can actually be useful.
They're also getting Terrorblade to tank in the front line too. He's definitely their best tank with all this plus armor, and he also does a lot of damage. So if they're focusing him, they're likely taking a ton of damage from his illusions because they have very little AoE control from them in the fights.
Dire Observer was scouted out the ultimate ult flying down to the OD. So extra stats for Notel's push. They still have Metamorphosis available. So the push into the tier 2 tower is pretty much guaranteed.
Yep, and that will be the last T2 for IG. Shrines plus Roshan likely shortly to fall after. How are IG going to respond to this? I think they need to be able to kill Ana very early on in the fights. He is quite vulnerable if they get the purge on his Flame Guard. But at the same time, they do need to stop the Grave out. If they Grave and then Ember just Remnants and then TP's back and then comes back at full HP, they're going to be in for a world of trouble because no one can actually escape from after the initiation. If Slaughter blinks in, he's just going to get clapped on by the Brewmaster and he's going to split and just hunt him down. And OD, we've seen already how they swarm all over him. So IG need to be able to get the quick and easy jump on him. And they also haven't been able to get the Astro onto any of the Shallow Grave targets. It's kind of seen that OD is a counter to Shallow Grave because of that, but he doesn't have the cast range because he just can't get in the middle of the fights.
Yep. I don't even know how you really stop this. Notel's been so efficient with his Metamorphosis as well. Farms up the cams just after they've spawned up. So there's none of the camps around there. You've lost your shrine. Soaks up the mid-wave with a couple of extra illusions, so Metamorphosis runs out, but you claim towers, you claim huge amounts of money, and now you're only a point booster away from having the entire Skadi. And he only bought up that ultimate orb just as they were starting to push on bottom lane. So much money flooding their way.
OD's going to have a real hard time trying to damage him in the fights. He's going to have too much intel to burst down with Sanity's Eclipse, and there's just too much damage coming out from Ember Spirit and the other members. Ember Spirit's at level 20 right now too. I think he's had really good luck with those past 2 runes, and maybe IG didn't really account for those, and they will go for 5-man smoke. They did have an Observer Ward at the shrine, so they kind of know that
they find Notel.
Notel's in this area.
Yep. Blink, Crush, Amplification, Notel, no matter to work with. So one very, very dead Terrorblade, but
he was also very close to his point booster too, so that's going to actually be a lot for them. They might actually get S4 too as OP goes for the Sandy's.
Yep.
Oof.
Not quite. Jirax in range. S4 still on the run back out of the tower, so he's going to have to split and try and fight this. So the BKB, that's the 10-second charge triggered by OP looking for that kill. At the same time, Anna is creep skipping it out, so they don't really have the wave reinforcement they want to have. And the Brewmaster knows he has to get back. He's about to switch back into his Earth Ruling in 1 second time. The Familiar Sons won't hit their mark, and S4, yeah, he's blinked away.
I'm sure that Dire would have loved for Roshan to be up right now. Slara gonna scout in hopes of it being up, but nope, down for a minute and a half, and that will seem like an eternity to IG as they sadly watch Terrorblade revive.
And he'll revive up. They might also pay a little bit more attention to the bottle of Anna. He's got himself another double damage rune.
Oh wow. He's gonna hit really hard with that. And the Maelstrom too.
Yep. It's kind of funny, like we still have to remember though that most Ember Spirits, in fact almost all Ember Spirits now are spellcasters. So even though he's got the double damage rune, it amplifies that wonderful physical damage, but he still gets so much more out of something like an Arcane.
Yeah. I think the Arcane's just really good on him because he has so much invulnerability time with Sleight of Fist constantly. Like, it's just very hard to ever catch him in a good combo.
OG grouping up again, Metamorphosis off cooldown, and they can look to the final shrine of Invictus Gaming up. They force in the top lane. Potentially if they can take this shrine without even committing Metamorphosis, is still going to be good for them.
One of the reasons why I think OG is such a good team is because they allow their supports to play the way that they want to. Like, how often has Fly been pressured this game? Like, he can always get off his spells, and he's only died once this game, as opposed to OG, who constantly pressured the
hook!
Oh my!
It dragged Bobacan down. He does have a little bit of extra health in the Familiars. Crushed onto Jirax. Ghost Set will protect him for the moment. As the no-tell illusion scout out, they almost managed to bring down one of the Familiars that would have been quite big for him. Even though Visage does have the resummon, even forcing that out is a good thing.
Wary of that shrine. This is kind of IG's last point of defense outside of the base. They need to be able to hold this, or else they just give out Roche for free, and Ember and Terrorblade will just walk all over them with their huge net worth. So they have to make this stand.
No other choice. With a Gem of Truth out on S4, they can't even keep their vision up, so all that beautiful vision they need, take the advantage in the fights, they're losing it. This is the other big point they have, so up on the hillside. Not something that OG will normally be checking for.
Oh, with the DD, or sorry, with the Vlads onto Brewmaster, it's very easy for them to actually start on Roach. It's a half HP. That is the amount of HP that you really cannot leave the pit for if you're either side.
Yeah, this is a committal now. So whoever wins this fight will claim Roshan. For OG, they'll claim the shrine as well. Victus Gaming. They still look for that opening. Anna is possibly their best opportunity with a good multicast. They only got 2 out of it. Straight back into the Sleight of Fist. So no follow-up from IG.
IG don't have good vision in that area though. They only have vision on the north side, but they're not even close to over there.
There's Blink, Clap, Split. Onto the Slaughter, as well as onto the Weaver. They all try and get the distance, but they send the OG up. It's the Storm Ruling that's done it. So Slaughter's on the run back out of here with all the Terrorblade illusions and Metamorphosis. They got so much damage. OD will be protected by his BKB. Drops the hammer, so the Pudge will drop. But really, does he have enough of his teammates left? They've done all their damage possible. Fly will finally die as well, but the buyback had to come in from Slaughter, so he can blink Crush back in again. But as Bobo and Burning, they're the hard ones doing the work. While no Tail's alive and he can switch life like that, even Ogre Magi can't fight. Edfall back in for the clap. Burning's on the run. They need more detection. There's a sentry ward around the pit, but they find Burning up on the cliffside. A quick Drunken Haze. You gonna come back into this? No Tail creates a quick copy. Slaughter not really wanting to go in any more than that. Just a quick crush and that was enough. And S4 looking for a blind blink. Doesn't find his opportunity. Delays enough time that maybe the Slaughter is able to escape on almost no life.
Slaughter got destroyed by the Ember Spirit. Oh my goodness. Just like one slight chains combo with a couple of right clicks and he was almost dead right there. That was a buyback from the Slaughter.
Well, he's got no real life to work with. Like, this isn't like an armlet kind of Slaughter. This is like these Tranquil Boots and Want. That's all this Slaughter is.
Things still pretty tense as OD respawns. Shrine still up and available as the Dire side if they choose to use it. Ember Spirit used the Radiant Shrine in that process.
Oh, Jirax, hook. Okay, you're going to use the Dragon Lance, but Anna then just jumps on top of the Weaver. Roosts him in, forces out a quick time lapse. 40 seconds now on cooldown, and they get a second Searing Chain. Terrorblade back on the front lines. The hook is going to miss. Only drags back the illusion of the Terrorblade. Thanks to that defensive imprisonment onto the Ogre Magi, it still leaves Bobica stranded in the middle of the OG lineup, so he'll fall as well. OP trying to get rid of these illusions, going to get Searing Chain rooted up. The OG know what they want. No Ogre, it's time for Roshan.
Ogre's actually a big deal in these fights too because of the level 4 Bloodlust. I think he enables the OD to actually do the damage that he was doing in the earlier parts of the game, burning, trying to scout out, get any signs of OG and where their positioning is.
That IG are going to be counting their lucky stars. That Observe Warden Sentry hasn't been scouted out because it's letting them know what they can get away with. The hook from Jirax and then Spirit away from Ana makes for an interesting little detour. But they're still working on Roshan, so down to half-life. Once again, you've got to commit to this. Burning understands now there's a Sentry Ward in front of the pit. As he gets drunken haze as he ran past the pit.
Yeah, where are IG's wards? This Observer Ward has stayed up there the entire fight.
Oh, nice. Familiar clamp down. S4 and Notel being caught by it. Again, another imprisonment. This one just trying to take S4 out of the mix. Sana being isolated, that Observer was still giving some really good vision, so Ana can play his spots perfectly. Another hit, and allows for Jirax to just combo into the hook. So he can say goodbye to Q and Brewmaster. Jumps in, goes to the split. OD has to trigger his BKB, but he's doing this to TP away to safety. Is actually back up to the shrines, not too far out. They haven't triggered it yet. They're being very, very patient. The Storm Brewlings are creating enough space that OG, they can finish up Roshan before any kind of counter magic can be there for OG, for IG and Jirax. Well, he's more of a distraction. The frontline tank, the meat shield, and another hook just short of the Slaughter. They move forward, Notel with the extra explosive spirit jump forward, Ana! The damage output is huge from him. And now this shrine, the thing they tried to save before they fought, will now be claimed as well as Roshan.
Jirax has been doing such a good job of space creation. He just kind of walks in. He's really fat, really tanky, a lot of flesh heap stacks, 2300 HP with barely any HP items. He has a little bit of Tranks for the armor, he has a Weave for the armor, he has a Ghost Scepter just to buy even more time. And he's like in the middle of a fight, just absorbing all the damage so that Ember and Terrorblade can rain hell from above.
And Ember has really done that. 12-15. So many of the kills. It's 27 out of the 28. You can easily do the math on it. Ember being involved in everything. And now sitting at level 24, 36 minutes in.
IG are also forced into the style where they have to jump with the Slardar. Like, Slardar is not a passive hero. You can't just sit back and farm all game with him. That's just not what the hero is designed for. And because of that, like, OG have gone for its Dazzle again and again to deal with it. And they haven't even been able to, like, need to use Graves early on to the fight. Jirax almost connects with that hook. But, like, Slardar doesn't really have a place, I would say, in this game. Like the Amplify isn't that useful because they're just missing constantly because of the Brewmaster, and then he can't survive any of these fights after he blinks in his studs, and he's their only source of initiation right now. He's having a lot of trouble farming his BKB, but he also has heroes on his team that take up a lot of space. The Weaver and the OD making quick work of the majority of the neutral creeps in the game.
Kind of feels like we're going down the same road as game number 2. It's a slow but sure death of Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, I think after the Roche contest, there's very little chance for them to actually hold the high ground. They just have no way to quickly burst down a hero. Everyone's just very tanky, barring the Dazzle, but Dazzle has such a formidable crew surrounding him that they don't even dare touch him first in the fight.
And this is a lot better team for OG than game 2 was too. Like, they can push quite well with the Terrorblade behind him. So hey, IG, you don't have as much time as you might have thought. Jirax in a great spot with his Observer Ward.
Dire's structures are
If anyone TP's up high, oh, okay, he's a little bit too early, and the hook was a little bit too short. Reveals his position, but the damage is being done. They get the stomp down. This could be big. Catching out Ana, but the shallow grave again. Fly is going to be the right place at the right time. Burning has to back out. There's just so much Terrorblade in the front lines, and the hook from Jirax pulling back in the Slaughter into a fight he does not want to be part of. They've lost the Familiars. They've lost their stuns. The Brutalies are causing absolute chaos on the back lines, while Notel trying to focus more on the ranks. Burning will come through and offer his side. OD's down as well. There's just too much firepower power in the OG arsenal. They'll push down closer, fighting underneath the tier 4 towers. Jurik's even just sitting there. Ghost steps up, doesn't care, he's got another hook available, and even now Chelograve is back off cooldown. They're losing everything, and this could be the game. They've lost all 5, and in fact, it is GG. OG, they were forced to a third after losing game 1, but they'll still take the series at a 2-1.
I think No-Tail had like 650 damage. That's almost better than a Rapier, I would say, because he had a DD during that fight. I think Runes made a pretty big difference. Like, IG kind of weren't able to control much of the map because they 5-man so much, but overall they have shown that they do have a very good solution